Have you ever wondered how to create R&B samples that balance soul and experimentation? In this video, I'm going to break down how I made samples from my new pack, Soul Food Volume 1, inspired by artists like Snow Allegra, Frank Ocean, and Black. And I'll break down the layers, techniques, and textures that went into creating the samples. You'll also learn how to create unique textures, blend acoustic and synth sounds, and why ambient and percussion layers are essential for improving your samples. And if you want to grab that pack, it's 50% off for the next week for Black Friday. Anyway, let's dive straight into the samples. So this sample started off with a Rhodes piano, and for this I'm using my go-to, which is the Arturia Stage 73. And then most of the time when I jump on the keyboard, I'm just playing around by ear until I find something that I like the sound of. And in this progression, I'm playing the same 3 chords 3 times, and then I switch it up for the last 2 bars. And one thing I wanted to highlight on this is something called grace notes. What they are just quick decorative notes that you play before the main note of the chord or the melody. And they're not actually part of the chord, but they add a smooth, natural feel to your playing. And I use them a lot for Rhodes or piano parts, just to make it sound a little bit more human. And next up came the piano, and that's playing exactly the same chords as the Rhodes. However, I also repeated those chords an octave and then 2 octaves higher, creating this sort of cascading effect. And that really helps to enhance the atmospheric feel. And after that, we go straight to the guitar, and there's quite a few layers all playing off each other here. First, I played the chords and just let them ring out. Then there's a layer of quick, short strums, a lead layer, and then another lead layer, which I've panned left and right. The vocals come next, and they're just following the main melody. And here's how they sound with just reverb. I'm obviously not a singer, so yeah, just take it for what it is. And then I added a load of effects to really drench them in reverb and delay. And it's little altar boy that's adding the main character. That's pitching it up an octave, and then I messed around with the form until I got something I like the sound of. And the format's just messing with the tonal quality or the timbre of the vocals. It's really nice to mess with that and just create something that sounds weird and funky. And then added a choir from East West, and again that's playing the same chords as the Rhodes. I really like to layer these samples up with a few different elements, playing similar stuff, but yeah, just making it sound bigger and wider. And I also run that choir through Effect Rack and Echo Boy from Sound Toys, which is giving it a super spacey sound. And for the bass, I played this in live using my Epiphone bass guitar, which you can see behind me. There's 2 layers of bass on this one. The first one's pretty simple, just playing the bass notes of the main chords with a couple of runs at the end of the bars to keep it interesting. And the second one's more like a percussive stab that's completely muted. And then after that, there's a few elements just to layer it up a little bit more. A lead flute from Sky Keys, which is just backing up the main chords. There's a glockenspiel one-shot, which is playing along with the lead guitar. And then finally, a couple of percussive elements. A clap I recorded in, which is just playing on the 2 and the 4, really simple. And then just a tambourine backing that up every couple of bars. So moving on to the outro part of the sample, there's a lead synth from Sky Keys, which is just playing a new melody, which is backed up by a new melody on the piano as well. And then the final thing, I like these really important little transitions which take you from section to section. For that, there's just a quick flute run and a little tambourine as well. So now that you've seen how that sample was made, I want to show how you can flip that into an actual beat. Yeah, so first things first, I brought the sample into Logic. And then I wanted to change up the pitch a little bit. So I'm using elastic pitch here, which is a really cool pitch shifting kind of plugin. I brought this down 3 semitones and I added an RC20 just for a little bit of chorus and a little bit of reverb as well. Then I got rid of some of the lows and the highs using an EQ, just filtering those out. That's pretty much it. I only used like a 4-bar loop of the sample for this main chorusy part. Next up with the drums, and I start with the hats, and I'm using addictive drums for these. And I like to play the hats in by hand because it's more natural, more human feel. Like the kicks and the snares, I'll just drag in. Next up though was the percussion, and I had these 2 different woodblock samples which I chopped up a little bit. Then we got the kick and the snare. Just came up with a little rhythm that I liked for that. After that we had a little snare roll, which is a sample I think from a Beat Butcher kit. And one thing I didn't mention is the plugins I put on the drum chain or the drum bus. There's an RC20 and knock. So if we turn those off, just to see what it sounds like dry, like you can notice the difference. Like it's not punching. It's okay, but it's not going to knock your socks off. So with the knock, like the knock's one of my favorite drum plugins. I put that on my drum bus all the time. Added a little bit of saturation to that, a little soft clipper, just to make it hit a little bit harder. And then the RC20 is just to make the drums glue together a little bit better. So we've got a little bit of distortion on there, a little bit of reverb, tiny bit. As you can see from the magnitude, I've turned down the wet dry knob basically. So yeah, if we put the drums with the sample, it's really sounding cool. And really the only other thing that I actually added was a bass. And I like to use Contact Rickenbacker for the bass. With that, all I did is add an EQ, just boosting the lows and then getting rid of the highs. And if we play all of that together, yeah, I didn't think I needed to do anything else, but I did do a B section. With this part, I took a different part of the sample and I filtered that using RC20. If you can see, we got rid of all of the highs. Just so you know, it's like a change of section. And then I got rid of some of the drums, so the woodblock's not there anymore. And I think I changed the transient on the snare as well, so it's a bit shorter. And then leading back into the chorus, we've got a couple of effects. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to show how easy it is to just drag these into your DAW and to make a quick beat. Like obviously you can get more technical, you can chop it up, but I just took little 4-bar loops and made a quick beat like that. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you found the breakdown helpful, you'll definitely want to check out my sample pack, Soul Food Volume 1. It's packed full of soulful, experimental samples just like this. Perfect to start off your next track. And like I said at the top of the video, that's 50% off for the next week. So this is the perfect time to grab it. And if you're not ready to buy the full pack, no worries. I've also got a free sampler, which you can find in the description. That one's got one-shots, song starters, loops, MIDIs, and it's the perfect introduction to my samples. And also, if you're looking to connect with other producers, or if you want to learn, share samples, or just to chat to other people making music, you can join my new Discord, which I'm hoping will be a really friendly community for producers and musicians. And remember to hit the like button if you like this video, and let me know in the comments if there's any producers or artists or even techniques that you'd like me to break down in the next video.